This is the plaintiff, Anna Chernovich. She says the defendant's mean old German shepherd attacked her adorable Vizsla named Hunter in the dog park, and he ripped open his skin with his big menacing teeth. The attack was totally unprovoked. This dog's a menace to society, and so's the owner, because he thinks it's no big deal. Hunter had to have surgery. She's had to take him to the vet 30 times over the course of 2 months, and she's suing for the $2,180.89 she's owed. This is the defendant, Roy Bamford. He says his dog and the plaintiff's dog got tangled up in the park one day and her dog got scratched. There was never an attack or anything like that, because if there were, her dog would be dead. Next thing he knows, the woman is suing him because her dog knocked over a speaker and broke his foot, and she wants him to pay for that. She must be some kind of nut or something. And besides, the plaintiff's dog was off-leash when she entered the park, and that's a big no-no. He's accused of a mauling.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant's German shepherd attacked her Vizsla real badly in a dog park. The defendant says it was just a scratch. So chill. It's the case of German attack.
Thank you, Douglas. Anna Chernovich, you are suing Roy Bamford.
Correct.
For $2,180.89 in vet bills that you say are as a result of his dog. Tell me what happened.
On December 23rd, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my daughter and I took the dog to the dog park.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a Vizsla. It's a hunting dog.
What's that look like? Do you have a picture?
And you can just give her all of them. There's
Okay.
a headshot somewhere there.
So go on.
We approached the orchard, which is a dog area where the dogs are allowed off leash. There were 2 dogs and 2 individuals present. My dog recognized one of the dogs and started to run over to it.
Is that the defendant's dog?
No.
Okay.
His dog, Bentley, approached our dog.
Had you ever seen him or his dog there before?
Yes. They had played maybe about 2 or 3 times in the past or during the fall.
Your dog and his dog?
Correct.
Okay.
They played fairly well. So I was not concerned when I arrived at the dog park. There's usually a lot of dogs there. Bentley, however, then at that point, Bentley approached my dog, growled. My dog ran away. His dog proceeded to follow, and within 10 seconds, bit my dog.
Okay.
There was no fight. My dog did not cry out. I just noticed that all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, there was something wrong. He was running over to me, and he had this big gash on his side.
So you could see the gash?
Oh, yeah.
And
the
why
skin
do you
was
suppose
sort
your
of,
dog didn't yelp or anything?
I think it was out of shock.
Okay.
The skin was sort of like, it was a triangular laceration, and it was sort of sticking up, and he started to just lick it immediately.
Okay, so you have pictures not of the dog, but of the wound that we're talking about. All right, and
you want a full picture of the dog?
That's all right, I don't care. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of dog it is. I've never heard of it.
He's a short-haired dog.
It is a short-haired dog.
He's a hunting dog, a bird dog.
Okay. So what did you do?
I right away, I'm a mother of 3. Right away, I was like, oh my God, this is a bad situation. We need to get him to a vet immediately.
Well, like a thinking person would think that too. You don't have to be a mother to think that.
So
you go into mommy mode, and what happens?
Well, Mr. Bamford and the other gentleman that I'm familiar with, we took a look at the dog, and I said, oh my God, I have to go right to the vet. And Mr. Bamford said it's nothing but a tooth snag. And I said, that's not a tooth snag. That needs stitches. And I turned around and
what on earth is this?
Could you?
That is the worst indignity. What is that thing? That's like the lampshade?
Yeah, that's the cone of shame, but that's like a newer version.
This is the newer version of the cone of shame? This is the new and improved cone of shame? This is horrifying.
It lasted about 10 seconds.
Good, because no dog should be made to go through that.
He looks like a daisy.
Okay, let me hear from you. What happened at the dog park?
I was at the dog park for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then the dog entered from the side, started to run with them, changed course, and they collided. I turned around and I saw a white spot on the dog. The dog has no hair, so it's very fine. There's no fur, is my point. So when the collision, the tooth must have went in, but it wasn't a bite.
She saw your dog bite her dog.
No, she didn't. And also, her dog yelped. There was no growling. There was no barking. They were running, playing like they always do, and all of a sudden we heard a yelp. They both split up. I saw the white mark. I walked over. Two gentlemen that were there. When you left, I asked you if you wanted my phone
Don't
number.
talk to her directly.
I asked you if you wanted my phone
What
number.
for? If it was just a collision of two dogs playing in a park, why would
Because
you
I'm
offer
a
your
dog person, and I thought I felt obligated. I also.
Did you tell her you thought it was a tooth snag?
I did not say
What's
anything.
a tooth snag anyway?
I
don't
didn't
even know
say
what
anything like that. I just said they just collided. I wouldn't know what a tooth snag
Did he
is.
tell you our dogs just collided? Was that his position at the park? I can't hear you.
No.
Okay. All right. So I'm seeing in these pictures a bandaged foot.
So what ended up happening, we took the dog to the vet. He had to have surgery that afternoon. He was just...
They stitched it up. They cleaned the wound. They stitched it up.
They put a drain in as
Right.
well. Sent me home. By the next morning, I could tell there was something very wrong with the dog. He was feverish. My daughter would sit with him and cuddle with him, putting blankets on him. That's the picture that you see where he's got a blanket. He had to wear a T-shirt because he had the wound it was not open at that point, but it couldn't be bandaged. So what happened was the day after Christmas, the 26th, I brought him back in. They were wondering whether or not he might have had an infection. So they gave him a blood test. It was determined the following day that he had contracted the streptococcus virus in his wound that caused a
Do
greater
you have that in
infection.
writing from them? That the dog had streptococcus in his wound?
Yes.
Okay. Can I see a full copy of all of the vet reports? So then what did they do? A different dose of antibiotics?
Amoxicillin.
Okay. And then did the dog do okay?
He had developed 3 sacs of fluids. He had to constantly be brought back to the vet's office to check on the progression of, the healing, I would say.
But then at some point, something else happens at your house.
By that point, he had been leaning against the furniture in the household, and I mentioned it to the vet. It's in the medical records.
So what happened?
So, when you are trying to decide who the aggressor is the size of the dog relevant? Do you think the bigger dog is likely to be the aggressor?
Absolutely not. 9 out of 10 times the smaller dog's the one that starts it. They're usually the ones that are getting in, and then the big dog's the one that, gets all the heat because of the bigger dog, the more aggressive one.
I love the 9 out of 10. This is a scientific fact. What do you say?
Well, in our relationship, she's the aggressor, and look at her, so.
Big things come in little packages.
Oh, so you're acknowledging that it's true.
Pequeña pero picosa. ¿sí?
Going inside the courtroom.
He leaned up against furniture, eventually into a speaker that fell and broke his toe.
And you're suing him for that?
Because if he had not had the wound, the dog bite, the wound, if it had not been irritated and discomfort for him and pain, he would never have leaned against the furniture.
Right, and if you had secured the speaker, he also wouldn't have had a broken foot. All right, so go ahead and tell me then what happens. How did they get a hold of you?
Well, when she left, the 2 other gentlemen that were there, I felt awful, and they both agreed with me that it was an accident. Things happen.
Are they here?
No, I don't know.
Do you have an
who they are.
affidavit from either one of
I have
them?
no idea who they are.
Okay.
I just see them at the park once in a great while.
Okay.
So then, time went on. I get a call from the dog warden, a complaint that my dog attacked her dog. I told the guy, I said, it was not an attack. If anybody's ever seen a German Shepherd in videos, what a dog will do if it attacks a Shepherd, there's a lot of damage. There's not one puncture wound. If there's a bite, there would be 2 bites.
You're kind of reminding me of when I was a domestic violence judge, and the defense of the defendant would be, if I'd have punched her, she'd have a couple of teeth knocked out.
No, I didn't mean that.
There is the spectrum of how much damage somebody or something can do.
Yep.
And I don't know that, look, I'm looking at the wound. It's not like, what's your position on the broken foot? Yeah, that's kind of my position too. But I see the wound, and they have to drain it, then it gets infected. There's a problem once you pierce skin. There could be a problem, whether it's a human or a dog. So let's look at your vet bills and all of your vet reports. That's right here, right?
Excuse me, Judge.
So yeah.
So then I get a letter telling me I owe $1,200.
Okay.
So I wrote back to her and told her that you retract the statement, the false statement to the dog warden, that he attacked and it was just an accident and I'll send you money. No response. The next bill I get is $2,300. I sent her a check for $1,000, which I thought I was doing well on the $1,200. She refused it, and then all of a sudden the second bill has shots, has broken toe, has all this. I don't feel I'm responsible for that.
I don't feel you are either, because there's something that the law, there's a concept in the law called, but for this having happened, this other thing wouldn't have happened. But that's called causation, okay? But you have to have a decent, strong, healthy causation nexus. And if there's something else that contributes to that, such as, the speaker can be bumped into and fall down, that's too attenuated to be blamed on him. But let's look at everything else and all of your other vet bills and the many visits that you had to go to there. So without the broken toe issue, it's $1,426.89. Mr. Bamford, in your state, there's a strict liability rule. That means that if your dog does any damage to a person or the property of another, it's on you. And a dog is considered property. And that is certainly what happened here. I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff, although I do agree with you that the broken toe is not on you. So I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $1,426.89. I hope your dog is doing well, and good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Bamford, the defendant has just come out of the courtroom. Plaintiff prevails to the tune of $1,400. What are you thinking right now?
That's fine. I thought I owed her money, but not the full amount.
But you were being pretty generous to send her a check for $1,000. Were you surprised she didn't accept it?
No.
You weren't surprised at that?
Because I could see where it was going.
Well, the bottom line is, do you think you two will still have encounters at the dog park? You still go there?
Absolutely.
Quite frequently? And you're convinced it was an accident
Absolutely.
and your dog wasn't really attacking
My dog has been socialized since he was 16 weeks old, just like the books say.
Yeah.
And shepherds have a bad reputation to start with. It was an accident. It happens.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. The door is that way. Here comes the plaintiff, Ms. Chernovich. But you only got, a portion of what you were suing for. Are you okay with it now?
I would have been happier if I would have also
Gotten
won.
everything? Well, the judge said you couldn't blame that.
But I'm happy with the outcome.
How is the dog right now?
He's good. He's as playful as usual, but he is very weary of large dogs.
Is he back to normal?
Yes, we're back at the park.
It's all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, congratulations. Harvey, interesting. What do you think?
Okay, Doug, so, in a lot of states, you actually have to prove negligence on the part of the dog owner that hurts your dog in order to get money. In this state, it's strict liability in this case. So that means if the dog hurts the other dog, that dog owner is liable.